All right, you've been doing a great job. You've been doing a great job with the poetry. You've been doing a great job with the short stories. And you seem to really enjoy the writing and the creativity. So I think that is awesome. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the differences between the poetry, the short stories, and the fables, and see how they're alike and how they're different. So to get started, let's read a poem that is here that I think that you might like. All right. So let's read this one.
I love the whir of the creature come to visit the pink flowers in the hanging basket as she does. Most August mornings, hours away from starvation to store enough energy to survive overnight. The Aztecs saw the refraction of incandescent light on wings as resurrection on fallen warriors. In autumn, when daylight decreases, they double their body weight to survive the flight across the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, so what's the title of the poem?
Hummingbird.
All right, so what does refraction mean? You read it very well.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So it helps when we know the meaning of a word too, right? Because sometimes we have different words that come up, and even though we can take them down and sound them out, we need something to go. So would it mean more to you if you knew what the word means?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So refraction in this case means it changes direction. So when you see a refraction of light, like have you ever seen like a crystal where the light hits it and it
beams off?
Yeah, it goes off. So that's what refraction means. So in this case, it's talking about, what's the title of the poem?
Hummingbird.
Hummingbird. So it's talking about the refraction of what?
Incandescent light on wings.
So the hummingbird wings. And why do you think that the hummingbird wings would have a refraction?
Because they move really, really fast.
Really, really fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what about this part right here?
Resurrection of fallen warriors.
Yes, so what does resurrection mean?
To come back.
To come back, yeah, come back alive or whatever, of fallen warriors. So what does this poem mean? When you look at this poem, what do you think she's talking about?
Not sure.
Okay, so right on this last line it says, on next to nothing my mother flew for 85 years. After her death she hovered, a bird of bones and air. So in this one it's talking about hanging baskets and flowers of hanging baskets and how they're pink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whir of the creature to come. So she's talking about how the hummingbird is alive and moving. And then she brings in what? She brings in
death.
She brings in death. So she's comparing and contrasting life and death, right?
Mm-hmm.
About how there's beauty in both, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about this poem? Do you like this poem?
I liked it.
It's a little difficult, though. It's a little harder than some of the other poetry that we've used, because this particular one was not written for kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as we're growing older and as our language increases, we need to start looking at increasing our skills and how we see things and the clues that we take. So when you get something that's a little more difficult, you have to look at those word clues to kind of help you through that. All right, how about this one? This is the donkey and the lapdog, and it's another fable. So let's read this one.
A farmer one day came to the stables to see his beast of burden. Among them was his favorite donkey, that was always well fed and often carried his master. With the farmer came his lapdog, who danced about and licked his hand and frisked about as happy as he could as could be. The farmer felt in his pocket, gave the lapdog some dainty food, and sat down while he gave his orders to his servants. The lapdog jumped into his master's lap and lay there blinking while the farmer stroked his ears. The donkey, seeing this, broke loose from his halter and commenced prancing about in imitation of the lapdog. The farmer could not hold his side with laughter, so the donkey went up to him, putting his feet upon the farmer's shoulders, attempted to climb into his lap. The farmer's servants rushed up with sticks and pitchforks, and soon taught the donkey that clumsy jesting is no joke.
So what's the difference between a donkey jumping up on your shoulders and, say, a dog jumping up on your shoulders?
Dogs are a lot smaller.
Dogs are a lot smaller. So
a lot less heavy.
It would be less heavy, that's true. And do you think a donkey dancing around and jumping up on you is as cute as the dog jumping around and climbing up on you? No. Do you think the farmer thought so?
He thought it was funny.
No. So what's the moral of the story?
Well, not everything's the same.
Yeah, what's appropriate for one person or one thing may not be for another. All right, so let's read one more thing here. This is a short story about 4 friends. All right, why don't we read this one?
Once upon a time, in a small village lived 4 Brahmins named
Satyanand, Vidyanand, Dharmanand, and Sivanand. You could go, yes. Okay.
They had grown up together to become good friends.
Satyanand, Vidyanand, Dharmanand were very
knowledgeable.
All right.
But
Sivanand
spent most of his time eating and sleeping. He was considered foolish by everyone. Once famine struck the village, all the crops failed. Rivers and lakes started to dry up. The people of the villages started moving to other villages to save their lives. We also need to move to another place soon, or else we will also die like many others. They all agreed.
But what about Sivanand? Asked Satyanand.